Good morning.
Nobody really knows what ignited the gas.
They had never received a card like that saying thank you from the kids like that. So special note to you and to all those concerned, thanking them for that effort. It made the difference. Highlight of many of the Veterans Day.
Good.
Well, thank you to you and your fellow veterans, Harry.
Yeah.
God bless all of you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Yeah, Harry, that was a fantastic
fine man.
presentation over at
Yes.
Eisenhower. Absolutely fantastic
Very good.
presentation. I
Oh,
watched it
thank you.
twice yesterday.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Did you
Yeah,
get my pictures,
we made sure Harry got a card because he probably would have given his away. So my kids made sure to write his name on it so he wouldn't give it to somebody else.
Yeah, and I last night when I was talking to my kids and grandkids, I held up and read the cards and showed it to them. They were just impressed.
So how's Sean doing?
He texted me this morning that now they're both sick. So
Yeah, he didn't seem good yesterday.
yeah, he said
Yeah.
that he's never slept past 6:30. And Poppy was texting last night that she doesn't feel well, which I guess I'm not surprised because everything I read after being around him says like the first 40 to 72 hours, you're not going to test positive. You're not going to have any symptoms.
Yeah, if she's not feeling well now, she needs to go she needs to be tested.
Or she probably already knows she has it and she just needs to stay home.
That's a possibility too, but she'll never know if she doesn't go get tested. Make sure she wears a mask and she'll be okay.
Hey, Paul,
Yes.
if I said 61, 52, and 7, you know what that is?
Pike,
62.
61, 52, and 7.
Pike,
Is that enough half the play for Michigan?
Yeah. That's center of the ball, right?
It's a total times Navy and Army have played football. The Navy leads that series. How about that? Go Navy, baby.
Yeah, well, that's one of the problems that I have every year for the Army Navy games, since I was in both the Army and the Navy. So half of the game I sit on one side of the house, the other half I sit on the other half.
That's why you got a split personality.
Actually,
I say go Miami Dolphins, Paul. Go Miami Dolphins.
yes.
Yeah.
Luckily,
My
when I was
entire family was in the Navy. Hold
when
on.
I was in undergraduate school at Penn, I was able to go to 2 Army Navy games. So that was
Yeah, when I was teaching up at West Point, they had special buses and everything else to make sure all the families there at the academy got a chance to go. I talked to my grandson at West Point last night, and he was telling me everybody's getting all fired up. They're staying, they will not let the cadets go home for Thanksgiving, but they will stay there through the Army-Navy game, getting everything all motivated and ready for that. Once the game is over, they will be free for, not free, they will be allowed to come home for about 4 weeks. But they're keeping the campus down, clamped down tight to prevent any spread of COVID up at the academies.
good.
Well, if no one's ever been to either academy, we're in Jersey. We take the boys up to West Point, and you'd see all the beat Navy all over the water tower and everything. And then we go to Annapolis to see games and be beat Army all over. It's a wonderful ride.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so I think we're gonna get started. If people come in late, obviously we'll let them join, but I'm gonna mute everybody. And then Jean, you're leading our reflection, and Paul is gonna lead the pledge. So I'm gonna mute everybody except for if you two can then unmute yourself. There we go. Okay, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rotary Club of the Villages. We do have 2 guests with us this morning. We have our speaker, past district governor, Dr. Eloy Nunez, And also we have Nigel Bailey. I don't see anybody else out there. That's a guest. I want to welcome back Scott and Kate. Welcome back to Florida. And John Rabley, we haven't seen you in a while, so welcome back there as well. Jean, if you'd like to go ahead and do our reflection for us today, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I pulled something specific, given that yesterday was Veterans Day and there has already been acknowledgement, but Harry, you did do a phenomenal job yesterday and it was very, very moving. Veterans Day is to honor all who have served our country in war or peace, dead or alive, although largely intended to thank those living veterans for their sacrifices. And I think yesterday was one of those days where we're reminded yet again of all that the veterans have done to protect our freedoms. And so today's reflection is on that topic. Freedom is many things: the freedom to choose, to be who you truly are, to express yourself and to live your life as you desire, so long as you do not hurt or restrict the personal freedoms of others. As fundamental as they may appear, these freedoms that are these are the freedoms that the entire world is struggling with these days. Following is a collection of powerful reflections on the meaning of freedom. There is no greater freedom than the freedom to be yourself. Give yourself that gift and choose to surround yourself with those who appreciate you exactly the way you truly are. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedoms of others. Freedom is the open window through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit and human dignity. Freedom of speech is not simply the freedom to think and say what you wish, but to speak for yourself, to speak from the heart, and to be accountable for your words. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we've destroyed ourselves. Freedom is not a life spent without care or want or grief, but rather the ability to experience and learn from these things as we rise above them to be stronger than ever before.
Thank you, Jean. That was awesome. And then Paul's going to lead us in our pledge this morning. So please go ahead and stay muted and Paul will do all the talking for us. Paul, you're up.
Well, good morning, everybody. Please join me. We have the flag in the background, so we have the appropriate equipment today. Jim, thank you for the flag. So please join me, veterans, you may salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And good morning to those of you who just joined us. We had a couple people jumping on late. We're gonna do happy dollars at the end if time allows for it, because we have two presentations today. We have a Veterans Day presentation from Paul, and then we also have our guest speaker, past District Governor, Dr. Nunez.
Jean, share screen.
In the next 2 minutes, I'd like to give Harry 2 minutes if you just want to give a recap real quick of yesterday, because we did have about 10 people join since you told us about the Veterans Day program. And then Phyllis has one quick announcement, then Paul, you're up. Harry?
He needs to unmute.
Yep, I'm clicking it for him. Hopefully.
Okay.
And Paul, you're not muted, just so you know right now. And your share screen button should be at the bottom in the middle, a green arrow pointing up. I gave you permission to do it, so. Are you getting it, Harry?
There it is. Yes. I want to thank all of you for your thoughts and prayers for veterans nationwide. We had a special Memorial Day, a Veterans Day celebration at the Veterans Memorial Park. It was attended by, much to my surprise, hundreds of people were there. And several of the Rotarians were there for support, and I appreciate that. one of the high points of the morning was that we had several cards that were handmade by the young people at the charter school. And those kids' homemade cards, veterans lined up hundreds deep in order to get those cards from the kids. It was a very emotional moment for several of them as I handed them the cards, and several of them almost like the feelings we had when we were first welcomed home officially as veterans coming back from Vietnam. Their eyes were, some of them were filled up as they got those cards and asked me to pass on to those young people their appreciation for their thoughts and their taking the time to do this for veterans. So God bless you all. And Stephanie, a special thanks to you for orchestrating that. You're a winner, and I appreciate that. And I will personally write notes to all those who participated. So to Rotary, God bless America, and God bless our veterans.
Thanks, Harry. Phyllis, you got about a minute and a half. Are you out there? I thought I saw you join.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. I have some very exciting news. It's kind of sweet and bittersweet, but I am now the chair, AKA president, of the newest satellite club in our district. It's really exciting. This club will be called the Rotary Travel Industry Satellite Club of Florida, and we are sponsored by the downtown Orlando Rotary Club, which is where Dick Harris and President-elect Rich Ungaro are members. And it's a really exciting new initiative. It's right in line with what Mike Vernon is looking to do, having clubs with a cause, clubs with a passion, clubs with of people with common threads. And these are high-level travel industry professionals that are ready to step up and be engaged and form a new club. I initially reached out to 4 people about the idea after talking to Mike and Rich and George Stewart for a few weeks. And in 2 months, we have 15 brand new Rotarians into this new club. And I'm really excited about it. But don't get too excited because I'm not leaving our club.
Oh.
I knew I'd get some moans and groans. No, I mean, my heart is here. I'm grateful for the almost 8 years in this club, serving on the board, on the committees, doing some great creative events. I'm still here. I still will attend club meetings when I can. I still will support and participate. I'm a villager, so I support, I know where I came from. And I want to thank you all. I have lifelong friendships from here, but this is the next step, and we're really, really excited about this new satellite club.
Yay, congratulations.
Thanks.
Steph?
No more announcements.
Yes.
No, you're gonna have to wait till the end. I'm sorry, because Paul
Okay.
Paul needs his 20 minutes to make sure that we can get the Veterans Day. But I'm starting a list. If you have anything to say, please send it to me. Just so we can-
Flowers.
I know.
Flowers.
No, stop. I'm gonna mute you. Thank you. Go ahead, Paul, unmute yourself.
Okay, I am.
I'm muting everybody, so I need you to redo it. I'm sorry. You're on, Paul.
Here.
You're there. You're good now.
Okay,
Okay, I'm gonna mute as well. So Paul, you're up. And
Okay.
Jeannie, thank you. They both have worked really hard on this, so here we
Okay.
go.
Okay, can everybody, can you hear me, Steph?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, welcome, everybody. This is going to be a little presentation so that you know who we currently have in our club who are past veterans and a little bit about themselves, as well as those who we've lost in the past. So
Well,
today,
we cannot see your presentation.
okay. Can you see that?
No, go ahead. When you push that green arrow,
Yeah.
there should be an arrow, then a window will pop up, and then pick which one you want to share. So it should give you the option so that we only see what you want us to see, if it's a PowerPoint or a video.
Go to Zoom.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Here comes the technology expert.
Yeah.
click that.
This, yeah.
No, that's no.
Okay.
No, no,
And start.
okay. Okay. Oh, no, that's your personal meeting. No, I'm sorry. Excel.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Well, no, I don't know how to get back to the Zoom meeting.
Okay, so hit Alt Tab, and then it should pop up where you want to go back to.
Alt tab, huh?
Or if you're on a Mac, it's
I
Command.
got it. Okay.
Okay, so you would pick that, all
Go
right?
Okay.
to the window, the up arrow.
Okay, and what does that say?
Share.
Share.
There you go. Yeah, good job.
Good. All right.
Teamwork.
It takes two brilliant females to do this. Okay.
Now the value is fine.
Okay, we're gonna,
That's your slideshow?
okay. They're good? You see it? Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Our veterans, past, present, future. Can you hear me, Steph? Well, anyway, I think everybody is muted. So here's our former district governor, Joe Weber, a past lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army Reserve from 1976 to 2001. Joe spent a significant amount of time. She was enlisted initially, as you can see, as an E4, and then she had a direct commission as a first lieutenant in 1980, and she retired from her 641st area group in 2001. So we're thrilled to have Joe with us as a veteran, and here's her other half. I won't say better half. I think they both share their love for Rotary and their love for their country. Dan was a command sergeant major in the Army Reserve from 1956 to 91. You can see all of the places that he was assigned. And his last assignment was as a command drill at the Command Drill Sergeant Academy. Now here's a guy that you probably don't recognize from this photo, but this is Earl Cherubini, our chairman of the foundation. Earl was a second-class yeoman. For those of you who don't know what a yeoman is, that's an administrative clerk sort of person. Earl was in naval intelligence. That's how we got to have him as our chairman of our foundation, because of his intelligence. His last assignment was in Newport, Rhode Island. So we're thrilled to have, here's another picture of Earl. Can you tell which one of these pictures is Earl? It's the far left, I believe. Here is George Green. Those of you who don't know George, you missed an opportunity to see an incredible World War II veteran. He was a photojournalist during World War II. Currently, George is in an assisted living facility, not because of his physical ability, but primarily because of his physical disability. His mind is still sharp as a tack. I think George is 93 or 94 now. He's done so much for our club, and we really appreciate everything that he has done as a veteran and as a club member. Don Ranoni, petty officer, another petty officer, second class, United States Navy. Don was a radioman, and his assignments, he spent time during the Korean War. Now here's Jim Kleiman. Jim is a special person that's given up more than just his time of service. Jim was a bosun's mate in the United States Navy from 61 to 65. And then he was medically retired because of serious injuries that he had. Spent a year and a half at the Naval Hospital in Philadelphia, and over the past 20 years following that, he had several surgeries. As you can see, when you see Jim, you see the damage to his hand. And he gave that part of his life so that we can share our freedom in our country. So we have a lot to thank Jim Kleiman for and for his service. And we are thrilled to have him. He's also a preacher. So we are thrilled to have that also in Jim. Harry, how do we say anything more about Harry? That he has given so much of his life he's a retired colonel. He was in the service from June of 69 to 95. He told me two things. One of his favorite memories was being welcomed home by his wife Connie and their sons when he returned from Vietnam. But the last time I spoke to him, he says his greatest contribution was as a professor at the United States Military Academy, where he assisted in the successful integration of the first women at West Point, which is a significant contribution and a significant event in the annals of West Point and the United States Army. So in addition to all of the things that he does now, Harry's past life reflects his great commitment to his country, as well as to our Rotary Club and veterans around the world. Thank you, Harry. Joe Nolan was a command sergeant major in the United States Army and also retired. I don't have his dates. This is all the information that I had on Joe. Hopefully, if he sees this program or somebody contacts him soon, we'll get more information for the next time that we meet. This guy you probably don't recognize from that wonderful picture. That's Jim Dow. He was a sergeant in the Air Force, and he was stationed in Vietnam. He was on the Aerospace Recovery, Rescue and Recovery Squadron. Handsome guy. Well, here's Jeff, and Jeff was a command sergeant major in the United States Army from 1968 to 1996. Jody is, he's got his hand on Jody, but she's really the right hand of Jeff. So just in case you don't know, but Jeff spent a career as an enlisted man and achieved the highest rank of E9. And we are really proud of his service to our country and the support that Jody has given him over the years. Gary Cato, Tech Sergeant in the Air Force, also a minister. Gary has done so many things for our Rotary Club, in addition to Project SOS, and which is support our soldiers, and all of the work that he does with the children in the forest. We are really very fortunate to have Gary in our club and in our community to do all of the things that he does to make life better for people who are very, very underserved, who are living in the forest. So Gary, we really thank you for your service. Paul Smith. Paul, for those of you who don't know, Paul was in our club for a number of years, and actually he is at the memory care unit that serenades. Paul unfortunately has Alzheimer's pretty bad. Those of you who have had an opportunity to see Paul in the not too distant past, you'll see how his memory is very, very bad. But Paul's donation to our military force was he was in the Air Force from 1975 to 1995, and he was a combat rescue helicopter instructor. He completed his claim to fame was he had to rescue Imelda Marcos's black bras and boxes from his helicopter as she was leaving the Philippines. Great event in life. But anyhow, we really appreciate all of the service that Paul has given us through the years, and his commitment and Ann's commitment to him. They are wonderful couples and wonderful Rotarians, and two great people. Tony Weiler, he is a retired commander, which is an 05 in the United States Navy. He was in Naval Aviation Intelligence from 1957 to 1979. His primary remembrances are of being his job as the engineering at the Naval Intelligence Support Center. He's also participated in several committees to develop the future of future ships of the Navy. So he made some significant contributions while in the Navy. And we've had Tony for a number of years. He's unable to attend our meetings, and I spoke to him recently, and he is very, very still supportive of our Rotary Club and a great veteran. Mr. Phoebus, Colonel Phoebus. Dick is a retired colonel from the United States Army National Guard. He was in the service from January of 57 to September of 93, 36 years of total service. His best positioning, as you can see, he was a battalion commander of a support battalion in the Maryland Army National Guard, which is in his hometown of Hagerstown, Maryland. So we are very fortunate to have Dick. Dick has made such significant contributions as a member of our foundation, the Paul Harris Fellow Program, and all of the programs that he has been actively involved with in the project Sharing Smiles with the Cleft Lip Cleft Palate Program. He has given numerous hours of his time, travel, and we can't thank him enough for what he's done both for our country and for the world in general, for the projects that he has been working on all these years. And Dick, thank you so much. And his most recent award is Rotarian of the Year, and much deserved, Dick. You may not recognize this guy, but this is me from, I joined the Navy right out of high school, and from 1960 to 1966, I was a hospital corpsman medic. And I reached the rank of E5 before I went to nursing school. I spent 27 years in the Army Nurse Corps and retired as a colonel. And a total of 33 years, my 6 in the Navy and 27 Army. And my most memorable event was being able to spend 2 days with President Reagan as his nurse when he was thrown from a horse in Mexico, when I was the chief nurse of the hospital there. So I really enjoyed my service, and I also enjoy all of the work that we've been doing in Rotary through the years. So it's a pleasure. And my most memorable point after my military service is caring for and being able to take part in 3 trips to Tarapoto, Peru, and working in the recovery room for the Cleft Lip Cleft Palate Program. It has been the most rewarding part of my entire nursing career. Dr. Ron Mansdorfer is a retired colonel. He was on, after active duty, he served in the reserves as a chaplain for about 10 years as a colonel. Ron is not doing really well right now, and he's always praying for everybody else, and I think it's not a bad idea for us now to pray for him getting better, and as well as his wife. Jim Harp, Spec 4 Jim Harp was in the United States Army. Jim hasn't given me any more than this, so hopefully he will give me more information about what he did so we can share that in the future. Gordon Ralph was a captain in the Army. Don't know any more about the details of Gordon, but we thank him also for his service to our country. Actually, Gordon was a lawyer, so I know that he might have been in the AG department. Jerry Swedberg was a petty officer also in the Navy. Ira Posen, bosun's mate, 3rd class in the United States Coast Guard, the only Coast Guard person in our Rotary Club, and very, very few Coast Guard people. So we're thrilled to have Ira's service as a bosun's mate. A bosun's mate in the Navy does everything and is a jack of all trades. So Ira, we thank you. We thank you for everything that you've done in our club. And we appreciate your past service to our country. And in memoriam, we lost Wayne Tutt, who was a Spec 5 in the United States Army. Bill Lloyd, who was a Master Sergeant in the Army and a veterinarian in the veterinary department. Bill was with our club many, many years. PJ Hurt passed away not too long ago. He was a Staff Sergeant in the Army, and he was in for 10 years. As he was called up during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and he ended up as an E6. and he was at West Point in 1957. So PJ was a member of our club for many, many years and made significant contributions to all of the things that we have done in the past. Ron Kirshner, also a member of our club, has passed. He was a staff sergeant in the Air Force. Ron spent a great deal of time in our club working with the children, especially at Christmas time. He was in charge of that program, and we owe an awful lot of deal of gratitude for Ron for all of his service to our country and for the service that he's given in our club. And last but not least, we have Derek Haig. Derek was a corporal in the Royal Signal Corps, and he was in the British Army, and he spent many years in our club. So we thank him for his service to our country. So ladies and gentlemen, that is our list of our club members who are veterans and past members, and we appreciate all of their service to our country and to our club. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you, Paul, for all your hard work. That was pretty amazing.
you're welcome.
And yes, someone asked if this was being recorded, and it is, so no worries there. All right, we're going to transition now to our speaker this morning. Pulling up.
No, good.
Did you have something else to say, Paul? Or were you good?
No, sorry.
Okay. Gonna get this up. Okay. Okay, this morning we have a very special guest. I'd like to welcome to the Rotary Club of the Villages, past district governor, Eloy Nunez. Would you like me, sir, to read this whole bio, or what would you like me to share?
No bios. Thank you. Thank you for
Okay,
asking.
sorry, my daughter's here too. So everybody say good morning to Lydia. But I'll let Dr. Nunez introduce himself. It's a great honor to have you here with us, sir, and it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I picked a perfect day. That was a really beautiful presentation, Paul. My heart was beating fast throughout the whole thing. And it was really impressive to see all these Rotarians or colonels, master sergeants. You could tell this Rotary Club has a lot of leadership and service beyond after your service in the military. So thank you so much. And I got to say, Gene, your speech in the morning really touched me about freedom. My heart was beating really fast when I put my hand to my heart and did the pledge. I could feel it beating out because it means so much to me. And I think that's the reason I'm here today. I'm here to talk about a book that we wrote, and I'll explain it to you. Here's the book, and it's called Escape from Cuba, and it is about freedom. I was writing my first book when halfway through it, I had this idea to talk to some of my friends at Miami-Dade Police. 9 of the 14 authors in this book are from retired police officers, captains. One was rose to the rank of assistant director, the #2 position in Miami-Dade. So it was a sample of convenience. I talked to my friends and we decided to put a book together. A few other authors, my brother, who's not a police officer, my sister-in-law, another lady who was a very successful business owner, and a political prisoner also wrote a chapter. So there's 14 authors, 14 stories, and these are just micro stories in the big history that was going on through the Cuban Revolution in '59, the missile crisis, the Bay of Pigs, the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States and China. And we still see those 3 countries still to this day trying to gain advantage over another. So our stories are just 14 stories out of millions. I call it micro history because it's just personal stories. So you can put all these stories together and form a mosaic. And that's what this book is. By the way, we're not making any profit. 100% of our royalties are donated to charities. Each of the 14 authors picked their own charity. 3 of them, I think, picked Wounded Warriors. Another 4 picked the Children's Hospital. I picked the Rotary Foundation, the polio, because as a governor, I needed to lead and form the example. I already deposited my first check to the Polio Plus via the foundation. So 100% of our royalties have been pledged and are given to different charities. So just to let you know, we're not making any money out of this book. The reason that we decided to write this book was to our children and our grandchildren, basically. And it is about freedom and not forgetting what my parents and my brother, my sisters, and all went through to make sure that we are free. And that's why I love veterans so much, because it does not go unappreciated. So before I talk about the book, I want to tell you a quick story. In January of 2019, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, Sandra Lilo, one of our Rotarians, one of my favorite Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Seminole Lake, she's a dentist. And just like Dick, she goes to Peru every year for the last 20 something years, and a team of doctors from all over the world do cleft palate surgeries. I respect her so much for all that she does, as I respect Dick's work also in the cleft palate thing. And she asked me if I would go to Cuba with her to present a Paul Harris to one of their top doctors. And I was like, going to Cuba for me was very painful. I'm thinking, the first time I see a mural of Che Guevara or Fidel Castro, I'm going to vomit. I just have this visceral distaste for communism. I'm a staunch conservative. I love freedom. And I just, it was really, to say the least, it was way out of my comfort zone to go to Cuba for the one day. But a Rotarian who I respected a great deal asked me to do it. I was the district governor at the time. So I felt that I had to do something, even though it was distasteful and uncomfortable for me. So I said yes. As a Cuban exile, I had to pay extra for my visa. So we went there for one day. It was a one-day trip. We left at 7 a.m, came back later that night, about 9 o'clock. Flew there. I didn't take any luggage, just myself, my clothing. And we landed. Immediately, I knew I was in a different world because the first thing I said, I need to use the restroom. And Sandra goes, did you bring any toilet paper with you? I go, no, of course not. Toilet paper? Nobody told me I had to bring toilet paper, but luckily I didn't need to use that. So that was my first experience as soon as I landed in the Havana airport. They gave us a quick tour. A lovely young lady, about 27 years old, spoke perfect English and 5 other languages. I later found out that she works for the government as a tour guide for $10 a month. We gave her a $30 tip at the end, which is 3 times her salary. But just a lovely young lady, and our driver also a gentleman, very nice. Drove us around, took us to breakfast. Of course, they took us to a place where only tourists could go. No Cubans are allowed in this place. I found it very strange. As soon as we arrived there were 2 people, 2 older men sitting on lawn chairs at the intersection. And I said in my best Cuban Spanish accent, buenos dias, that means good morning, how are you? They looked at me strange, like, why is a Cuban going in a place where Cubans cannot go, within Cuba, ironically? So they kind of couldn't figure out why I was there. We ate there, a very nice breakfast, the best café con leche I've ever had in my entire life. It was delicious. As I'm leaving there, music turns on. I couldn't figure out where it was. It was John Lennon's Imagine. And it was so strange, so strange. I love that song. Imagine came out when I was in high school, a beautiful song. But the communists used that song to foster, imagine no possessions, et cetera, et cetera. They're big fans of John Lennon because they try to use that for their propaganda. Everywhere I looked, everywhere I went that day, as they drove us around, I saw something that it was just so strange because everybody spoke so softly. And if any of you know Cubans are the most loudest, most boisterous, full of life people you'll ever see. They love dancing, they love music. Yet everybody in Havana was very quiet, very quiet. It just struck me as very strange that Cubans are not quiet people. Why are they so quiet? Why circumspect? Why are they so careful with their speech? Well, 60 years of socialism will make you quiet because uh, the slightest little innuendo, the slightest joke criticizing Fidel Castro will put you in jail for a very long time. So it was not surprising that everybody was very, very quiet. We finally arrived at the Hotel Internacional in Havana. That's where we're supposed to meet the doctor and his entourage. As we were waiting, I saw undercover officers, policemen. I know that because I was an undercover officer and I've done many, many surveillances. And I know when somebody is watching me and when I'm watching them. And even though they were in t-shirts and blue jeans, those were his uh, guards, I guess, their version of the Secret Service. So everywhere we went, I saw these people watching me, and I could tell who they were. I don't think most tourists will see that, because they're not looking for it. But I'm so used to surveillance, I know exactly when somebody's looking at me and who they are. So we finally came to a small conference room. They had us waiting there. The doctor, his wife, doctor's mother, father, two other doctors and their wives were also there, as well as our tour guides, a small group of about 25 people. Very nice. They were very cordial. We introduced each other. I went up there to give the presentation of the Paul Harris, and I just made a quick joke that all of a sudden just kind of eased all the tensions. It made everything, for that moment, there was no communist versus non-communist. It was just those people in that room at a very human level, very human level. So we awarded him the Paul Harris, took photographs, shook hands. And the whole time I'm thinking, his father is there, the doctor's father. My father was never there. He always said, I will return to Cuba when it is free. Well, he passed away in the year 2001, I believe. So he never got to go back to a free Cuba. And probably I'll never go back to a free Cuba. I don't think that there's a point of no return that every country has to go through. Sadly, I'm seeing things lately in the news, censorship, some really, really ugly things that are very reminiscent of what happened in Cuba. It's very sad for me. It's almost like reliving the same thing that happened to us. So, anyways, we ate this lunch. I had to go to Cuba to have Cuban food because up in Inverness, there's no Cuban restaurant. So it was delicious. Flew back to Tampa that night, and I got to say, as reluctant as I was to go to Cuba for that one day, it was probably the most important experience of my lifetime. I even got to drive by the house that we lived in, which is now habitated by squatters, literally, where people live wherever they want. They just go, they squat, and it's their house. So the business that my parents had, a photography business, the house that we owned, is no longer there. It's just an impoverished country, a beautiful country at one time with a very vibrant middle class is now gone, very sadly. So I just want to let you know about that visit. And before I talk about the book, I know that my time is limited. I was going to read a brief passage, but I'll forego that for the sake of time, so you can have some of your happy dollars and all that and make some money. You have an incredible Rotary Club. I see 34 people showed up to this, and several of you are double. I see Joe and Dan and a lot of others. What an incredible Rotary Club. Very impressive. I went on your website yesterday, and I didn't realize how big your club, how many people you have in your club total?
We have about 80, 85 members right now.
Wow. My club's like 80 up to now, but when we do our Zooms, we only have like 25, 30 if we're lucky, but this is very impressive. So anyways, I am familiar with the villages. My wife and I take our granddaughter to the movies there, Sumter Landing, our oldest granddaughter. The first time we went to the villages about 12 years ago, first time we visited, we were walking around, they were dancing in the square. They were playing the Cupid Shuffle, I think it was, or one of those line dances. And my wife loves to dance, so she goes, "Oh, let's go over there." I go, "Oh, geez, I can't dance those songs where you have to follow orders. I'm not good at that." So we started heading over there. Next thing I know, the music stops and there's all this commotion. Fire rescue's there immediately. Somebody must have had a heart attack or something. And they put him on the gurney, and within 1 minute, they whisked him away to the hospital. I was like, wow, that was fast. Rescue was already on the scene. And it was amazing. As soon as they took that person to the hospital, they turned on the music. Everybody started dancing again. It was like incredible. It was, it reminded me of like a zebra or a wildebeest getting devoured in the Serengeti, and all the other zebras. And hey, there's Bob, just got eaten by a lion, you know. Next thing I know, okay, just keep living. I guess that's the way life is in the villages. You got to keep living, got to keep living. So I think that's the way life is everywhere. Can't stop living. But as far as the book, there are 11 chapters, 14 authors, as I mentioned. It was rated #1 in McFarland bestseller in the month of February and March, McFarland Publishers. And then the next month it dropped to #2. And then after COVID, it dropped from the list altogether. We were scheduled to do a book signing. We did a book signing in Miami. 300 people showed up, and we sold a lot of books there. And then we were scheduled to do another book signing at the district conference, but that got canceled. I also had a book signing at San Leo University, where I work, and that got postponed indefinitely. So hopefully we'll have that. Again, it's not to make a profit, it's to get our stories out. We want our children and our grandchildren, as I mentioned in my speech at the book signing in Miami. It's about being kind to others. #1, being service oriented, not being envious of other people's wealth, because I think that's what drives socialism, pitting white against black, poor against rich. That's the way socialism works. It gets us fighting amongst ourselves and envious and jealous, and that's how they succeed. And eventually, it's all gone, and we all lose our freedom. So, it's a message to our sons and our daughters. In fact, all 14 authors had either their wives, husbands, daughters, sons, or grandchildren reading brief excerpts from the book to the audience. And that was one of the best parts of the whole day, especially seeing the little granddaughters. There's a beautiful little granddaughter, about 14 years old, 13 maybe, reading her grandfather's story to the group of 300 people. So that was that. Very briefly, one of the stories that I want to just touch on was Captain Diego Maya, retired as a captain from Miami-Dade Police. And he was a young man. His father was taken into the prisons for no reason, political prisoner. He hadn't done any crime, just as my uncle and my cousin, their only crime was being in the Army or the Air Force. That was it. That was their only crime. One of them was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Several of them went to the firing squads, etc. But Diego's story, after his father was imprisoned, he was about 14 years old, I believe. He and several other kids his age wanted to go to Guantanamo Naval Base. For those of you who are not aware, Guantanamo is a U.S. territory still in Cuba. And so to get to freedom, they wanted to go to Guantanamo Base. Problem is, there's minefields that Castro set up, and several people died and blew their legs off as they were trying to walk to the naval station for their freedom. So Diego and his friends decided to go the long ways through the swamps and then through the Caribbean Sea, swimming the rest of the way. So he made it successfully. These are shark-infested waters. He wrote about it in his excerpt in the book, in his chapter. Just one of the many, many millions of stories of brave people that will do anything, for their freedom. So those kind of stories really inspired me. And if you like to read them, please purchase the book. The book is available through McFarland Publishers online. It's also available through Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. I think it does cost $39.95. I have 100 of them available that are going to be used for book signings at $24 for a special price. If anybody is interested, you can shoot me an email. There's also like a $6 to postage, so it'll come out to about $30 rather than 40 from Amazon plus their shipping. So if anybody's interested, the name of the book is Escape from Cuba. Let me show it again here. Escape from Cuba. Now, I just looked it up the other day on Amazon, and there's a whole bunch of books named Escape from Cuba. I guess a lot of people are trying to escape from Cuba. There's another one called Escape from Cuba, Search for American Dream by Julio Ortiz. Another one by My Escape from Cuba by Ozzy Sabina. Escape from Lost Paradise, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I'm going to buy those books too because I'm interested. There's so many stories that I think need to be preserved for our children and grandchildren. So anyways, I've talked too long. I apologize. I'm not going to read the excerpt. It's an extra 4 or 5 minutes, so I'm not going to read that. And I'll open it up if anybody has any questions about anything.
Thank you, Dr. Nunez. That was awesome. Thank you for your story and sharing the book with us. We did have a couple questions in the chat, but it looks like you answered it for the full name of the book and where to get a copy. So I'll make sure everyone gets that emailed to them, those online resources.
Well, thank you. And again, if you write to me, I can send you a copy for the $24 plus about $6 shipping.
Great.
If anybody wants to do it. So thank you so much. I'm so glad I came on Veterans Day to see that presentation. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. So it really warms my heart. So appreciate it very much for your time.
Great, thank you.
All right,
Does
thank
anyone
you.
have any questions? I just went back.
I have an apology.
Okay.
For some reason, in my haste of putting the program together last night, I left out Brett Smeltzer. And I don't see, is he here? I don't see him at all. Did he leave because I left him out? I didn't. Dick, do you know anything? Unmute yourself, Dick.
He did leave.
Dick?
Yes.
He did leave. Do you want to?
He did leave, but I think we ought to go ahead with whatever you're going to say at this point.
Well, first of all, I really do want to apologize. Brent was in the Air Force as an enlisted man and as an officer. He had 31 years of service. And Brent, in addition to his service while he was on active duty, he has, Dick, you know more about his history as a member of the guard, at the cemetery. He is a part of the team that attends all of the funerals of Army personnel. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because he knows more about it than I do.
Let me speak about it. Brent was a contracting officer, started as an enlisted man for 6 or 8 years, and then spent a total of 31 or 32 years active. He also is commander of the Color Guard, Bellevue VFW, who does funeral presentations for veterans who generally are not eligible or have not been blessed with a active duty military color guard, and that means so many of the enlisted people and people who didn't get big decorations and things like that. Brent has done, I think he told me, 150 or 60 of those funerals himself. We honored 4 members of his unit last week, and just to tell you the magnitude of that quickly, it takes him about 2 hours to get prepared and get down to Bushnell, where most of the funerals take place. It takes about an hour and about 2 hours to get back. Multiply that times 150 times. And that's what Brent has been doing for veterans since he's been back here in the villages. So, yeah, another one of those ubiquitous colonels in our unit.
Yeah, I will make sure as soon as we finish today, I will add him to the program for future.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I missed that. I can't apologize more. Sorry.
That's always the difficulty when you do a long list like that, that you'll miss someone.
Yeah. I see Joe Nolan is with us, and Joe's hopefully will give me a little bit more information about himself so I can put that into the program in the future. Joe, you see me? Joe? Unmute yourself, Joe. You know how to do that? He needs to put his glasses on. Unmute. Unmute yourself, Joe.
iPad 7. iPad 7.
Okay, great, good.
Hi, Paul, everybody. Thank you for that great presentation, Paul. A lot of good people in the Rotary. Thank you.
And you're one of the many. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your
It's a
service.
team, buddy.
Thanks, everybody. I know Phoebus wanted to tell you about next week's speaker, and also Jeffrey wants to talk about his plants. So,
Want me to go, Steph?
plants. I'm sorry.
You want me to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Exciting news for our club. We have had another global grant approved. This time it's going to be in the local area at a free clinic in Lake County, where we are putting together with Advent Health a program for diabetes diagnosis, testing, and actually treatment and drugs. It will begin on the 21st or so of February. It takes some time to get these all approved, but all the funding is in place mainly because of contributions that members in our club have made to the annual fund. We had about just under $14,000 worth of DDF that we actually $13,424, which we dedicated to this program, and the district was gracious enough to give us the other 1,600, 15,000 will be matched by Rotary International. When they approve the grant, we'll have $30,000 to do this program with a free clinic. The director of that free clinic will be on next week to talk to our club on Zoom, broadcasting from her clinic, showing you what it's about, what it does, and why the free clinic programs in Florida are so important. Enough.
Good stuff, Dick. You've done marvelous work.
Thanks, Dick. Jeffrey, take it away. You're muted. You're muted. Well,
Okay,
we can't hear it.
There we go. Okay. I'm capable. I just wanted to let everybody know that our first moneymaker is going along quite well. The only area that we're down on is those people, please, to volunteer to help on the 3rd of December when all the plants come in, and you'll have your own plants. And I'll need some people also that can help load cars or get plants to those people that can't make it. And we've had good response in previous years, so I expect no different. Right now, we have about 4 people. If I could get about 6 more people, you can either give them to Glenda. I see Glenda there, but I know you're not in the same location as everybody else either. So if by next week we can get those together, and the other thing is that we need your forms in. If I don't have a form or Glenda doesn't have a form, there are no flowers for you. And we've got our big sales. The 3rd is the day that it's going out. We'll take orders even. I've got deliveries after the 3rd, but I've got that covered because there's special orders to big customers, some 200 plants, some 250 plants. So those will be taken care of after, and some before our date of the 3rd. So December 3rd is the day you'll get your plants back for delivery that you have taken orders for, as well as we'll have some extra plants that maybe people can't get due to different reasons, and I'll have that by then. There will be one other date that I'll need about 6 people. We're trying to get that settled now, where we drop at Laurel Manor, which will probably be the following Monday after the 4th. So after the 3rd, the following Monday, because he can't load the plants that fast again. So I'll keep you informed, but please get your forms in and then think about if you can do a little bit of extra. This is our only fundraiser so far this year, and there's a lot of things that we have to take care of in the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff, my wife has several $100s worth of orders, and where do you want those?
You can send those to me if you want to, and my address is on that new form. Do you have it, or?
The new form?
Yes.
I assume she's got it, but I'll have to check.
Okay.
We'll get it.
I will email you my mailing address.
Okay.
So if you can just stick those in the mail to me.
Yeah. Okay. And Jeff, you can mark me as delivering all of those poinsettias.
Thank you very much.
And Jeff, add me to the list of pickups and deliveries on the 3rd.
And Chuck Jarvis.
Yeah. Where are we? Is the delivery going to be at La Hacienda Rec Center on the 3rd?
Yes. Yeah, yes, it is.
At 7 o'clock?
In the parking lot.
7 o'clock?
Yes.
I'm shooting for 7. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go the day before and help him load the truck. So we should be there, and I have a truck this year. So we hopefully will have everything there at around 7 or a little after, so people won't have to wait around.
Okay.
Jeff, what is the drop dead date for orders for plants that are available on December 3rd? When do you need those orders by?
Well, depending on how they're going to get to the people, if you're going to take them and they're after the 3rd, no problem. I'll take your money.
No, that's not my question.
Yeah, you need a specific date. Like he needs a week notice with the plant to get the orders ready, a couple days.
Yeah, what's the drop dead time?
Basically, I can go out to the nursery at any time and pick them up.
Give us a date, Jeff.
Jeff, when does that?
Okay, make it the 3rd. Make it the 3rd.
No, he can't.
No, you're not listening,
all
Jeff.
orders need to be in by the 27th. That's the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
They need to be delivered to Glenda so that, or to Jeff somehow, so that they can go through the orders over the weekend and tell the guy on Monday.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you very
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't understand what you were saying.
Even if you're going to mail me the forms, if you want to scan the forms to me before you send them to me, that's great. I can do that.
We can also take credit cards.
Glenda, why don't you put your email in the chat or your address in the chat?
Okay.
All right, we're digressing here. So 27th, your orders need to be in.
Jeff and Glenda, you can add me to the list on the 3rd. I'm happy to give you hand delivery.
If you guys need to pay by credit
Who is
card,
that?
let us know.
Jeff. Oh, Jerry.
Jerry Newell.
Got driver.
Hey, Jeff, I think you have me already, right, Joe Nolan?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, buddy.
You got me, Jeff? Scott?
Jeff.
Now I do.
Jeff, you got me too? Yeah, put me down too. I put it in the chat, but.
Put me down too.
We can have the rest of this conversation after the meeting. So I just want to let everybody know, because people did join late. Poppy and Sean are both now not feeling well, so please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. We did record today's presentation. I'll get it formatted and put on YouTube and send you the link. So I just want everybody to have a great day. And keep in mind what Jean told us this morning to our veterans and be grateful for everything that we have. So start each day with a grateful heart. Thank you, guys. Phoebus, can you lead us out in the 4-way test, please? And thank you, Dr. Nunez. I really appreciate you coming and joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you very much.
And Paul, great job.
You ready?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Of all the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth?
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun?
Woo!
Paul.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Paul.
Have a good day.
Yes.
Stay
Thank
dry.
you for the program. That was great.
Okay.